Is your soul begging you to do more? Are you yearning for something else besides this hamster wheel that you've been running on your whole life? Because if so, you just found the right video and you just found the right guy. Pictured here is me and my oldest daughter in December of 2022. At this time, I was still trying to blend in. I was still ignoring all the feelings that I had inside, all the feelings that told me there was more to life. I started this page to be with my children and to spend time with them. I spent the first part of my adult life drinking and partying and running from the trauma that I went through as a child and a teenager. I acted just like a good mixture of the parents that raised me in my first marriage. As you can imagine, that did not end well.
Come on, girl.
So then I met my second wife, hence the sirens. While I was with her, I became a plumber and an electrician and really turned things around for myself. Little did I know that she was a narcissist, that she would use me, lie to me, manipulate me and my family for years, while being lazy, making me feel bad, and thinking that I was crazy the whole time. I'm not pretending that I was perfect during this marriage, but I damn sure tried and worked my ass off and got lied to over and over again. And I did get to make her feel freaking crazy. I mean, just cuckoo, thought I was losing my shit crazy, and I thought it was all me, but it wasn't. Fast forward several years of being married to my narcissistic ex-wife. And then boom, Marie dies. This is Marie, pictured here. She was an earth angel, and she was my stepmother who treated me better than anyone in my family ever treated me. And even though she was that to me, she apologized a month before passing away to my face for never treating me as good as she should have. As we thought it would, her death rocked my entire family and sent me on a trajectory toward awakening to who I really was and why I was really on this planet. I got message after message after message that I needed to quit my job. My wife was working, and I was crying all the time. I was crying in my van, I was crying under houses, I was crying in attics, I was crying all the time, and I didn't know why. The reason why was because I had all this pent-up trauma that had been repressed since I was an infant, and I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that I was spending time every morning getting up, praying and reading my Bible, going to church, and I was getting these messages that were telling me to quit my job, and everyone in my life was telling me that that can't be from God because God wouldn't tell me to quit my job. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't let anyone tell you what God says to you, because I didn't. I did for a while, but I knew. And there came a day when I didn't listen anymore. I knew that it was time, and I quit my job. And just like my ex-wife threatened, she wanted a divorce. And that's when things got really wild. This right here is where I buckled up my seatbelt. This right here is when I said, screw what everybody else says. I am the most important person. I can't do anything for anyone if I am not healed, if I am not whole, and if I don't do what I believe that my Creator is telling me to do. I studied the Bible and I knew it well. And I knew there was story after story after story of people that were considered crazy for listening to the voice of God. And I had no problem being another one of those people, which led me to this moment here. Sell everything you have and follow me. I know my Father's voice. He called to me and I woke up. How many people have you ever met that actually followed this advice? I don't know about you, but I'd never heard of any. So after abuse from my ex-wife and my family for months, I finally ended up alone on the road. I left my house with my ex-wife and my son so that I knew my son would have somewhere safe to be. I tried living with my toxic grandparents and their son, my father, but I had been abused enough by my ex-wife, and I had been abused enough in my life, period, and enough was enough. So after getting cussed out on the highway in Georgia, hours away from home, while helping my dad do things for himself because he couldn't stop staying fucked up, I got out of the car and said he could drive himself, that I was done with all of it. So pictured here, I'm living in the woods in Florence, Alabama, where I was guided by my ancestors. The miracles that led me here were incredible, and the miracles I experienced while I was here are unbelievable. You cannot make this shit up. I was tested again and again. While my whole family ridiculed me and mocked me, I continued to do exactly as God asked me to do in prayer. I continued to put my faith in my heart. I continued to fast and to pray. Though I was no longer bound by the lies and indoctrination of the religion that I grew up in. Hours and hours away from where I had ever called home, being guided and taught by my ancestors, I could finally see the truth. I could finally see clearly. And I could see the truth in society, in the government. I could see every layer of what was really going on in this country and on this planet. I learned how deeply we have been lied and indoctrinated and poisoned. I learned that we really don't need anything that we've been taught to survive to actually survive. And most importantly, I started to remember that I was important, that I was here for a reason, and that I was not the person that my family had led me to believe that I was. Everywhere are waking up and realizing the prison that we've been in that we didn't even know existed. I tried and I tried to no avail to stay in contact with my children. But my family really didn't give a shit about me, and they didn't give a shit about my kids either. And it was definitely just easier for them to pretend that I was crazy than to face the truth of everything. So I just learned to cherish every moment for what it was. I learned to soak in the beauty of every moment. I learned to listen with my whole heart. I learned to start from scratch and create the reality that I wanted around me. To create a sacred space for myself. Pictured here is the first time that I had ever had a sacred space. This was the first time I'd ever had my own room besides a cell, like when I was a child. I greeted the sunrise every morning, and I watched it leave every evening. I treated the people that I saw and met in my life, even though there were not many, like gold. While you're living inside of the illusion, it can be so comfortable, and you can be so used to it, and scared even to get outside of your comfort zone and what you believe life is supposed to be, that it's impossible to see the illusion that you're within. People are scared to be hungry. People are scared of war. People are scared to be without a house. People are scared to be without their group of friends. People are scared to be without the people that they've known their whole life. People are scared. Most of the people you're sharing your energy and love with will only want you to behave and be a certain way. They will expect you to make decisions that they will agree with for them to continue to love you the same way. That was my altar. That was my safe space. And that was my truth. My truth that I was learning to share, no matter how it made other people feel. I was finally finding my voice in the woods. So please, my beautiful friends, if you're interested in learning more, if you're interested in hearing more of my story and how I got from right here where you're watching to where I am today, standing strong in my power, in my divinity, in my sovereignty, and manifesting new realities without fear, leave something in the comments, follow me, share this video. If you want something different in life, you need to start putting your focus on something different. Thank you, and I love you.